Okay, scholars, let's talk about Kubla Khan for a minute. So, this is one of my favorite poems in the whole wide world. But Coleridge almost seems to not love it so much, right? He distances himself a lot. A vision, inside a dream, and a fragment. So he's saying, I didn't really come up with this on my own. It was this weird dream that I had and this vision that was kind of inside the dream, and I was on opium, and the poem's not finished. It's a fragment. So there's a lot of deferrals there. And then, this, I wouldn't even have bothered you with it, except for that Byron said that it was good and then I should publish it, but he didn't say that it was Byron because he thought it was bad and he didn't want Byron to be, you know, tainted by being. So, I mean, this is all kind of strange from a very renowned and obviously very good poet. It's also strange when you read the poem and you're like, this poem is amazing. So, um, no one's, of course, quite sure what the deal is with that. I mean, Coleridge did, in fact, suffer from, image problems for lots of reasons. And so it could all be completely honest that he just isn't sure that this is a good poem. Um, I think it's wonderful, but I also don't really think it's a fragment. When you get to the end, it feels finished. So, but remember, romantics love all this stuff. Everything that he's doing here. This is all very romantic. Fragments, because when you have fragments, then you have spaces, lacuna, where the reader has to fill in the gaps, right? And anytime the reader has to do some of the work of constructing the literature, then you have this reciprocal relationship. You have this co-authorship relationship, and that's very important to them. So this is why they like gaps. So they wrote fragments on purpose. So just him calling it a fragment doesn't necessarily mean, wouldn't always mean that he means that's bad. Um, Byron wrote lots of intentional fragments that again are fragments, right? Um, the other thing is that this is a poem that is very good for formalist readings. So there's so much going on. Like, look at what he's doing with the vibe shifts and how those vibe shifts are supported by the sounds. So anytime you have like a staccato effect, if you want it to move faster, you use hard consonant sounds and shorter words and shorter lines, right? That's going to make your um, reader move through the language faster. Softer sounds, anything you can draw out, sibilants, or or any of those sound, or vowels, of course, any sounds that you can draw out. And anytime you have polysyllabic words and longer lines, you slow your reader down. So he and alliteration, a lot of the time will speed it up, right? Especially if it's hard sounds. He's doing a lot of that here. And so look how he messes with the rhyme. So go through and find out where the rhymes are. Look how he messes with the different lengths stanzas and different lengths of lines. This poem starts with that amazing sort of drum beat in Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where off the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man down to a sunless sea. Like the stresses are very, very obvious. And he does that a lot in other places. And then other places he gets very, mazy motion. And at the end, he's got this, or toward the end, he's got this kind of lullaby sounding stanza. This kind of, starting at line 31, this kind of bobbing effect. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, right? Um, he really does use the sounds to support what he's describing. Um, it's all very, there's also a lot of like Doctor Who, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff going on. Ancestral voices prophesying war. Like, so we have past, future, present in the middle somewhere. Um, you also, and I think this is what fascinates me about this poem. At the end, he says, So remember the preface that's part of this text, right? Um, is, well, I was having this vision and it was wonderful. And I was trying to write it down into a poem so that I could share it with you. And then the man from Portlock comes and interrupts me, and then I can't get the vision. I can't get it back, right? It's like trying to remember, when you wake up and you're like, wow, that was a weird dream. And then 2 hours later, you can't remember it. So that's what he's describing. But this last stanza says, if I could do it, if I could get the dream back. So I had this vision. If I could revive within me her symphony and song, if I could get it back, then that would be amazing. Then I would write a poem. I would write a poem about it. I would do the thing that I said I was trying to do. I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome. Notice the juxtaposition of sun and ice too. Um, and everybody, all who heard, should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair. Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise. So if I could get that vision back, and if I could turn it into a poem that you would be able to see, I would be like a god. I would be a creator. This is a thing that poets kind of think about themselves. Artists of a lot of different kinds of artists, that creation is this godlike power, this sort of deification. But the thing is, what am I reading then? Right? Like, if you're saying, if only I could write a poem about sunny caves of ice and damsels with dulcimers singing songs about it, then I would be so powerful. I would be this godlike creator power. But I just read, dude, you did it. I just read it and it was a banger. It was great. So there's an irony that is this whole poem. All of these juxtapositions of opposites, and all of this playing around with sound and motion, and then in the end to say, man, I wish I could do all of the things I just did, because that would make me amazing. Um, so yeah, it's wonderful, and you should spend some time thinking about it.